talking about time management and positive mental attitude is the need of the hour. And a special thanks to our organizers, the organizer Heritage Institute of Technology, for not only acknowledging the problems the young millennial is facing today, but more importantly, giving us a path to the solution. We hope, myself included, I want to learn to deal with time and my thoughts with the help of this seminar. Having said that, I would now like to acknowledge our esteemed audiences. We welcome Shri Prabir Roy Sir, Director of Kalyan Bharti Trust, Shri Pradeep Agarwal Sir, CEO of Heritage Group of Institution, Dr. Pranay Chaudhary, our Principal of Heritage Institute of Technology, to this webinar. And we welcome Shri Arvind Srivastav Sir, Registrar of Heritage Institute of Technology, to this webinar, and all the faculty members of Heritage Institute of Technology present here. And of course, to all the student audience, our main target audience. Now, without further delay, I hope we all enjoy the seminar. I would like to call upon our esteemed alumni from the AEIE class of 2005, JC Anupam Bed Sir. He's the president of the Union Chamber International, Kolkata. Sir, you may have the mic.
Thank you, Saranya, for the lovely welcome and basic introduction of what we are going to talk today. Being pass out from the first batch, I have a very, very special regard and attachment to the institute. I am also part of AEI syllabus committee, where I regularly visit the institute, and I am part of making your syllabuses and giving my suggestions as a member of the board. I am very much I am feeling very nostalgic to talk to all of you, especially in this time, and hope this will add value to your upcoming growth and future ventures. So today we are here from a very well-known, very good organization, which I am currently heading for 2020. It is called Junior Chamber International. It's a largest youth organization in the world. We take in members from the age group of 18 to 40. So let me just brief you a bit about what this organization is all about. So basically, this is a United Nations backed organization. We are basically working in all areas which touch your life. We are working in training, where we train you to be a better speaker, to be a trainer, to be a better human being. We do a lot of community work, where we help do United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. We do a lot of business networking, where we do all the networks and do startup, where we are doing a lot of startup ecosystems and all. We are doing a lot of fun events for youngsters in growth and development area, and we do all this through a very organized and a very structured organization, where we learn by doing whatever we do. So it's a very structured organization. I am part of JCI Kolkata. It's again a part of Zone 3, and JCI India is there, and then the whole international organization, which is present in 124 countries. It is totally global organization. We hold a lot of conferences, Asia Pacific Conference, zone conferences, national conferences. We have the World Congress and everything. So this is the basic idea of what the organization is all about. And then we have our past president and national trainer with us, who will be taking you through this wonderful journey of positive thinking and time management skills. As an alumni, I humbly welcome to this webinar Prabir sir, Pradeep ji, Arvind sir, and my dear teachers and my dear fellow students. Thank you, all of you, for the wonderful opportunity that I am getting to interact with you. I am always available for you. If you have any queries, anything which I can help you with, I'll be ready to help. Thank you. Please take it forward.
It is my pleasure to introduce smiling and pleasant, and she is our past president and JCI national trainer, Srija. Srija is a coach, author, and facilitator of transformation and self-awareness with over 10 years of experience. She has conducted various training and led many trainings events pan-India as the chairperson. She is a master's in NLP and a Dale Carnegie certified trainer. She has appetite for learning and self-development and has completed advanced landmark program, Silva Mind Training, graduation, advanced law of attraction practitioner training, Reiki healing from Dr. Paula Horan, business leadership with Jamie Edwards, bounce forward with Sam Cotton to name a few trainings. Her clients include entrepreneurs, financial advisors, FMGC, banking, IT, premium institutions, colleges, and members of various organizations like Rotary Club, Lions Club, FICCI, FLO Roundtable, and many more. She has contributed her articles and stories for various publications like the Tribune, the Times of India, Chicken Soup for the Soul series, Unbox Writers, and is a renowned co-author of Rendover with God and a book on the essential reality of God. Her personal well-being practices includes meditation, learning, village traveling, reading poetry, and inspiring stories. So let us welcome our trainer, national trainer, and past president JCI, JC Srija Jawar. Over to you, Srija.
Yeah, thanks so much for this generous, introduction. I'm definitely so glad to be part of Heritage, and Pradeep ji I've known for so long, and being once again associated with him and Heritage Institute is a great honor in itself. And thank you, Anupam, thank you, Jagan, and thank you, Heritage, for having me here. And with a wonderful topic, especially in these times, which is called time management and positive thinking, both absolutely needed in this particular time when we have abundant time actually to ourselves, and at the same time it is very important to know how to get into the positive zone and channelize the time for our own goals and to achieve certain things. So I would like to share my screen and without delaying begin with the presentation. So, time management and positive mindset. I'm sure most of the students here and most of the people who are participants already know a lot about this. This has been spoken for so many, anybody who would say skills and soft skills would, learn time management and positive mindset for the first time, and get a glimpse of how to, chunk down your time into productivity and how it is connected to your entire achievement and accomplishment. But before I begin, I would like to, tell you something about Admiral William. He's one of, the authors of the book Make My Bed. And he has spoken in Texas in his commencement speech about one thing that set the tone for his accomplishments. And what was that one thing? He said, I began my day with a sense of accomplishment, by just making my bed, because it gave me control over my entire day, about the attitude with which I used to get out of my room. And so the first thing that he would do is declutter and make his bed in the morning. So that set in into self-discipline mode, and that also gave him you know, a taste of accomplishment, of completion from the start of the day. So I was really touched by what he said, and I would encourage, we all start our day not in a messy way, generally that we do, but if we can just start our day with this particular tip given by Admiral, he was a Navy SEAL officer and achieved a lot in his life. You can go ahead and read that book. And let's start with his tip of, starting your day with a sense of accomplishment. And now moving forward, I would like to know from few of you, you can just unmute yourself and say, or you could write in the chat, and Anupam can let me know. Where are you going? Can we have a sneak peek into your map? Like, can you just give me in a line, in a word, exactly what is it that you're looking forward to? Where are you going from here that you need to manage the time that is there, or your mindset to achieve certain things? So you should know where in the map are you, and what is it that you're about to go for or achieve, or you're looking forward to. For example, I was looking forward to this particular program, and I was managing my time since morning. I had other, appointments, but I was rescheduling everything and stuff for this particular meeting. So, kind of filling it in, knowing where am I going, my preparation was according to that, and my day was according to this. So, similarly, our lives, we are all going somewhere from here. And most of you are students. We are in a future training program of JCI. So, I would like to know from you in a line, where are you going? So, waiting for your answers, friends. Anupam, do we have any chats, or is there any?
No, no.
Would love to hear it
Please,
from the
please
students.
write in the chat box.
Or you can unmute yourself and let me know what exactly are you doing to make it simpler for you.
Shaunak is writing, I am looking forward to study more on my departmental courses online.
Absolutely wonderful. So he's looking forward to studying more for your departmental courses. And Shaunak, now if to put it even more, crisply, could you just define what will happen out of studying for your departmental courses? Where are you headed? Right? So the course is a journey. It's not an accomplishment in itself. So it's an activity for an accomplishment, or for a means that it's a means to an end. So what is the end that you're looking for? What is it that you're wanting to build up for yourself?
I will request everybody to be as interactive as possible. Uh,
Yeah, because if you're
you
interactive, we can have fun with this, often talked about, course of time
correct.
management and positive thinking.
Shaunak is writing, I will gain more knowledge of my choice of subject.
Okay, so his choice of subject, I'm sure Shaunak is wanting to see himself as in a particular role in life. That is why he's chosen certain subjects. And similarly, most of you have also done the same. You have a set of subjects because you have a goal in mind where you want to reach. I studied for training, so I did a lot of courses. You must have heard in my interview, in my introduction, about Dale Carnegie certification and JCI certification, and many other certifications that led me to where am I today. So I'm sure that you also know which ladder is taking you where. So as and when you
I have
know,
some more responses. Yeah.
yes, yes,
Uh, Sharaina is writing, looking forward to getting a satisfactory job, both monetary and mental satisfaction. And
yeah,
Ritvika is writing,
wonderful.
I am looking forward to do higher studies. Saurav is writing, I am
Yes.
looking forward to eliminate my bad habit
Hmm.
of procrastination. Uh,
Excellent. Saurav, wonderful. You have a lot of
these,
tips here. I'm sure that will help you a lot. So, yes, as you're doing your higher studies and you're looking for your job, uh, of course, this is not a goal setting program, but I would want you to define it so beautifully that you can literally visualize and emotionalize it. So, cherish your dreams as they are the children of your soul, the blueprints of your ultimate achievements. And as we are, our goals are set, our visions are set, then comes the question of time management and mindset. So once now that you're set on it, we understand and dive into what exactly is time management. And of course, life has taught us a lot during the past few days about time management and about this abundant resource that we got. Uh, Ironically, it was fortunate as well as unfortunate, but people did realize that what is time, and how they, so many things that we used to do weren't that important, and we realized that what is the basic importance for us. And of course, many of you must have prioritized and must have understood the values of certain things like family and other things, health and stuff like that, which often go ignored in younger ages. So it is so important to have that also in your plan somewhere as you move towards your goal. So great. So one thing that we must note is that what we learned from the lockdown, from this pandemic situation, don't let it just go waste, you know. Don't read the WhatsApp messages. In, introspect about it, reflect about it. That what did it mean for you? What exactly came out for you? What was screaming at you, like, to notice or to understand? So, one, you get it from there. Second, we dive into the principles of time management now. Time management is about more than just managing, of course, our time. It is about managing ourselves with respect to time. That is so important, friends. And it means being willing to experiment with different methods and ideas to enable you to find the best way to make maximum use of time in respect to the goal that you've set. So time is like river, like water. It can go anywhere. But now that you know your goal and you know your dream and you know your blueprint, your map, you will be able to channelize this time in the right way, friends. So goal is the primary, step to time management. How do we prioritize time? So uh, I would generally ask you to log, if you have a paper in your, with you, just log in. What do you do in the day? Like, I'll just give you a minute. And if you could just log in the first half of the day and what time do you wake up and then what is the first half of the day is like, what is your study time? What are the other things that you do, like meet up friends, call up friends, social media? And if you could just put it down, and preferably with the number of hours or time that you allot to each one, to allocate to each of your stuff, your, uh, whatever family time and everything, just put it in there. And if you've done it, let me know with a yes in the chat box. So your time starts now. 1 minute to log yourself. Great. So wonderful, friends. Why did we do the logging? Because I'm sure when you log, you do realize that, okay, you are, there are some time wasters. There are some important things where probably very less time is gone and probably where you are prioritizing, like, for example, your goal, as you said, the studies, the job that you're seeking, the training for it, and everything is somewhere in the back burner because of so many other things taking in the very quality time that you've got for yourself or for your career or for your goal. Besides the time for your health, besides the time for your family, besides the time for relaxing and resting, which is so important. So, besides all of the social time and stuff, you are seeing how much exact hours do you actually have in hand to allocate to the priorities that you have set in the starting of this program. So you will realize, where am I and where am I going? This drift now has to be really understood very well by you. And once you understand that, you will know where to, tweak the model for yourself. Now, there are some various basic principles to prioritize yourself. So there's a Pareto principle. I'm sure all of you've heard of it, the 80-20 rule, which is like the 80% of the results are based on the 20% of your, efforts. So similarly, if 20% of your time is managed for your priority, 80% of the day, is properly set. So 20% of your entire time, if you allocate to the goal that you have set in, you will realize that most of it is, handled on its own. So we'll talk more about it as I open up the sheets where we plan. Urgent important matrix. I'm sure everybody has heard of Stephen Covey and his 7 habits, effective habits of great leaders, that book. So we know that in one of the 7 habits, he's mentioned the urgent important matrix of time management, which we will dive into and make sure that we implement it in our own lives. And then being assertive. Now, how come being assertive is part of prioritizing? Can anybody tell me? You can unmute yourself and talk. Why being assertive is a part of this time management course. Anybody who's listening.
Yeah, please come forward.
Friends, I'm waiting.
I
Yeah. Hi, give me your name and tell me.
Hello, I'm Sharanya. I personally think that being alert comes with, understanding your environment and how that shapes into, from what
Yeah,
I've
it's
read.
about, yeah, it's not just about being alert, it's about being assertive. Like, being able to say yes and no assertively, not passively, not aggressively, but very assertively saying no to certain things. So, why is it part of prioritizing your time? It's simple.
This is
Think about it.
because you assert to the decisions you make, and the decisions you make lead to your destination.
Absolutely, Sharanya. Wonderful. Yeah. You're right. And being assertive is so important because if you're not protecting the time schedule that you made for yourself, then it is so difficult to, prioritize yourself or to get to the 80-20 rule or to even understand whether you're in which zone of the urgent important matrix. Let's dive more deeply into it to understand what exactly it is. So, this we have spoken about. Now, 80% of the results are 20% of the actions. So this, if you ever see, even if you've given your exams, you would know that if 20% of the topic, if you have covered very well, like very well, you've secured 80% of your marks. So it is so important that the 20% of the action that you're taking, the 20% of the time that you're scheduling to your particular goal that you have, besides the other important areas of your life, whatever time is there, if you can secure the 20%, only 20% I'm asking for your goal, you have achieved around 80% of the results. And obviously, if you want to go ahead and achieve the 100%, you will obviously do a little more tweaking and you'll be more protective about your time and boundary. So that is so important, friends. Now, what is the urgent important matrix? If you can do it, even today, I have my board here right now in my home office, which has this urgent important matrix, which is so important for us to understand where are we, and where our time goes wasted, and where do we, spread ourselves too thin, and we don't understand the importance of our own goals and our own blueprints. So this is like a graph where you have, the axis is like important and urgent. So there are four areas where you can be. You can be in urgent but not important. Okay, so urgent and not important. Can anybody give me an example? Or should I only give you example? Urgent but not important. So your neighbor, wants your help suddenly, and he calls. Obviously, maybe if it's obviously an accident or something, it is very important. Does not fall into not important. But he just wants to have a chat, and he wants to, immediately calls you and says, "Come down, and I need to have a chat with you." And I need, so that falls under friends, urgent but not important. It's not important for you, but it suddenly become very urgent for you. Or, for example, something that you're doing favors for somebody else, and their deadlines have come, but it's not important for you right now. So it becomes very urgent to do it. Somebody's birthday and somebody's something you're doing, and it becomes very urgent, but it is not important. So this is, you need to understand that this particular thing takes a lot of our time, without even realizing that it is probably not of that importance to me. It just becomes too urgent and we need to get it done. And sometimes, most of the times, I would say, it is not your task. It is task which people have given to you. And because you couldn't protect your time well, and because you couldn't be assertive, you said yes to it, and now you're caught up in that urgency of finishing it. I'm sure many of you must be thinking about so many projects that we take up, favors that we do for people and for sometimes, our own people without realizing that probably at this particular moment in your life, that is not important. Then there are tasks which are not urgent, not important. Like, for example, finishing off a series in Netflix. Friends, it's important to relax and stuff like that, but this is not so important, and neither is it so urgent that you postpone something that is really important and you compromise that for the not urgent and not important bracket. So that you need to understand. So we eliminate this particular part, we eliminate from our this thing. I will tell you, it does not mean I'm taking away Netflix from you. No, even I love Netflix. But I will give you that as rewards for your work done. So it'll be like we will have a technique I'm going to teach you today is Pomodoro. I'm sure many of you know also Pomodoro. So there, when we'll give rewards to ourselves, then we'll watch all the Netflix that we want to watch. But as a task in itself, as a day waster, we cannot afford it. And if you are doing it, I'm sorry, friends, mediocrity is what you are welcoming in your life. And if you really want to live with mediocrity, then it's okay to be the way you are. But if you really want to be in that self-discipline mode and be productive and achieve something, here is the cheat sheet, I would say. So not urgent, not important. When you write down your log, you see in your log that you wrote down. What is it that was not urgent and not important? Strike it off right now. It is not for you, for getting involved into. Not urgent, not important are other people's things, that we get ourselves involved with, which is not of any value per se. Sometimes we do community service, which is of value, right? That's a different thing. But there are certain things we could get just involved without even thinking, giving a second thought to it. So friends, strike it off. Now comes important but not urgent, and then urgent and important. So urgent and important are things like your deadline for exams, your exams coming out around, So obviously the syllabus has to be covered, and now it has become urgent because deadlines are coming very near. So this bracket we try to avoid, friends. We avoid as in obviously you have to work there, but we try to stay more in the important and not urgent area. Now, what does that mean? That means we have to prepare ourselves way in advance. We have to do the spaced repetitions. There's a way to study, right? We have to allocate ourselves for everything. We have to understand the forgetful, forgetting curve. So the forgetting curve we have to define. So we have to have our spaced repetitions allocated very well. We have to plan and schedule our study in such a way that we don't get into the urgent and important bracket, because then it becomes like you're in a panic situation that you need to sit and you have to finish it in, and 20% 80% of your works there. So if you are more towards the important but not urgent matrix, if you are in that zone, you are safe, friends, you're safe. So you are giving the time to the right things that are important for you, and if they have not become so urgent that you get into the panic mode, so you would know that, oh, fine, I'm in the right zone right now. So if you allocate your, the log that you've written in this way, you will know that, okay, so studies for 2 hours was actually, and the exams are really not approaching now. So I am doing the right thing. So give yourself a huge tick and a smiley for that, because you're doing the right thing. You are in the important and not urgent zone. Now, what do we do with the urgent but not important, right? That we discussed right now. Urgent but not important. So urgent but not important have to be delegated, friends. Try to delegate those tasks which become too urgent. For example, family needs you to do certain things, and it's not important for you per se, and you are on a roll as in you have a goal and you got to achieve it and you have time set for it. So it's good to call up a friend and ask if he's free, obviously take permission. And if the person has the time, he can do a favor for you. Good enough. And say thank you or learn to say no. So there are two things you can do. You can delegate or learn to say no. So these are the things that we do with urgent but not important tasks. Not urgent, not important, we completely eliminate. Urgent and important we have to do. So we need to manage obviously this also. But in this, we have to manage a lot of mindset and energy and a lot of systems. So try and be in the important area only. So was I clear with this? If I was clear, say a yes, because then I'll give you some examples, more examples as we move forward.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Now, as she said, Sharanya very rightly said, that assertive is very important because it's a first step to prioritizing yourself and your time. So, honest explanation, give a very honest explanation, even if your dad asks you for a favor and you say no, it's okay. Try not to get into the aggressive zone or the passive zone. What is passive zone? So when a dad turns around, you tell your mom, why would you always give me this work and blah blah blah. So the complaining, cribbing mode, that's the passive mode. The aggressive mode is saying no in such a way, ruthlessly, that person feels hurt and he'll never come around to give you favors. So the best thing, friends, is to give an honest explanation of where you are busy and clarifying your reasoning. Some people say it's okay not to clarify and just say no. There are various quotes on it. But if you really have to build up interpersonal relationship and you want to manage that as well, then I would suggest give a very clear reasoning to the person you're refusing for a certain task. Uh, Give an alternative solution. For example, why don't you go to this person and get that done? I am occupied this week. So it shouldn't be an excuse. It should be genuine, and that's how it is. Assertive refusal. So you got my point, right? Now let's move forward and understand. Now, I want you to quickly answer in the chat box. 80-20 rule states that 80% of your dash comes from 20% of your. So please choose the option and write it down. So here are your answers, okay? The Pareto principle or 80-20 rule states that 80% of your results based on 20% of your actions. A deadline to complete the report due next month can be considered urgent and important on the urgent important matrix. No, friends, it's not urgent, but it's important. So it's not urgent and important. So this is false. Urgent and important could be if you have to give it tomorrow or 2 days later. So that becomes too urgent. You have next month. So it has still not become the panic situation. It's still not urgent, but it is important. So it's a good zone to be in. Important, not urgent. Now, next, where would you have your lunch with a coworker is not important and not urgent. It's not important, not urgent. You may or may not have lunch with a coworker. It does not fall in important or urgent important matrix at all. So it is NUNI. Okay. Yes, A, this many of you had answered. A positive no when interrupted is very good. Which of these is the best description of what time management is? It is not managing time, it is managing ourselves in relation to time. Remember this always. We are not managing time because that is why we began with your journey. Where are you going? So, how much time you need? Yeah, you know your family, you know your priorities, you know your social circle, you know everything. So, when you draw yourself, it is about you managing yourself in relation to the time. The time 24 hours is given to everyone. Now, how do we manage it? We manage it based on what our goals are, what our life is like. So based on that, in relation to that, you are managing your time. That's time management. Now, 80-20 rule is not the urgent important matrix. 80-20 rule, friends, is Pareto principle. And Pareto principle is going to help you in everything in life. Now, this one is A. See your answers if it's correct or not. Right? Immediate attention, if somebody is saying immediate attention is needed and it's not your goal, it falls under urgent bracket, obviously. But since it's not your goal, it is not important for you. So urgent, not important, right? And in these four options, it falls under urgent because it needs immediate attention. Now, what is a powerful way of organizing tasks based on priorities? Urgent important matrix is the best way to prioritize the tasks based on your time. So it's very important prioritizing tool, I would say. Urgent important matrix. I want you to, once this thing gets over, as you put the log in, put down a matrix for yourself and draw your own matrix based on your current situations. Now, positive no is I don't have time to do that today. I can schedule it today. In case you're saying yes, okay? Or otherwise, I would also say that D could be the right thing. That if you're not at all planning to do their work, then you can simply say that I would not be able to do it. And what is the positive no most appropriate for? Yes, all of the above. It is good for all. Now, how do we plan, friends? Now that we know we have to prioritize, we've set the prioritizing matrix, we know the 80-20 rule that at least 20% of the time should be in our control to have managed the 80% of the actions and everything. Now, how do we plan it? So, um, I'm sure that most of you have heard the glass jar story. Has anybody heard, yes or no, the glass jar principle for time management? It's classic, and it tells you the maximum in a very good way what is important. So, has anybody heard from this group? Yes or no? It's strange as if I'm, training to myself. I can't see anyone. Anupam, Jagan, could you please let me know?
No, no, Ritika, no,
Okay, okay,
no. So there
fine.
are a lot of no's.
So I'm lucky basically. I would love to, tell you about this glass jar principle. So, uh, how did it, a professor once got a jar, glass jar, and rocks, pebbles, sand, and water separately in a class. And he asked everybody to fill it with all the four, things that he'd gotten. Now, when they started doing it, and they filled in the water, then put down the pebbles, and then they tried to put in the sand and then the rocks. And obviously, it didn't fit in very well. And they kept trying. There's a video, a very good video on YouTube about it because I couldn't show in this particular presentation. But go and watch it. So they tried to fit that all in, but wouldn't fit in the glass jar. Say glass jar is the limited amount of time that you've got. Now, the professor started instructing them as to how to do it so that they can fit it all in. One or two students said that it's impossible. We've tried so many times, but all the things wouldn't fit in. So he said, let's try. So he asked them to put the rocks first. So they, threw in the rocks first in the glass jar. Then he said, why don't you now place all the pebbles in? They placed all the pebbles in, and then came the sand, and sand took the course that was there. Sand is coarse and it's fine, so it could take in the space that was available. And lastly, the water. So water could seep into the pores, in the cracks or the gaps between the rocks and stuff, and the water was fitting it in. So what did he mean by doing it? And everybody was surprised that the glass jar actually could accommodate everything. So he said, friends, similarly, say rocks are our priorities. Rocks are the goals, the big goals in our lives. For example, somebody has a goal for a job, somebody wants to become an engineer, somebody is doing some other work, some studies for becoming something. So they have those are the rocks for them right now in this age group that you're in. For a businessman, his business is probably the rock. For a person who's taking care of his health, he's unwell. Health would be the rock, the first rock. So you put in the rocks first, then comes the pebbles, the various different things that take our time. For example, our interests, our family, friends, giving time to each one of us, each of the things that we're interested in, putting all those things. For example, you are a person who's studying, but you also like to read books, you like to write blogs, you like to do certain other things also, like love to learn new things like guitar or stuff like that. That would be pebbles for you. So you put down the pebbles in. Now comes the sand, the time that goes out to partying, and that's important. Your social time, your relaxation time. Probably, you're doing a little watching of the Netflix or stuff like that. Something that gives you some relaxation that is needed after you've handled all the rocks. Put that in, sand. Water, friends, is usually something that you don't need to fill your glass jar with, but still, there are certain places where we do waste our time, and there are other things that actually are not important, not urgent, but yet we would like to get involved into it. maybe just be in the neighbor's house doing nothing, or sitting with a friend in and helping him achieve something. It could be important as well for you, but remember, your rocks are very important. I am very keen on letting you know that there is something called balancing, where you give yourself and where you hold on to yourself. It's good to give yourself, but it's also very important to hold on to certain things that are important for you. Unfortunately, we are now becoming such social bees that, for approval and for validations and for things, we just keep giving ourselves to others. It's good to a certain extent. Like the last came the water. It's very important to hold on to things that are important for you, because otherwise your life is going to go in mediocrity. Your productivity is going to go down. And so you give out a message even to the other friends of yours that priorities are important. And so the water comes last. Okay. So this is the glass jar principle. So this is, now you have to define what are your rocks. What are your rocks? You have to decide. So maybe a particular, your sister or your friend who's very close to you is part of your rock. So you, no matter what, if that person calls, you're gonna be there because that's your rock. So it's okay. You need to define your rocks, your studies, your health, your family, whatever it is, you need to define it. Pebbles, your hobbies, your vocations, your other stuff, please define them. Sand, your social circle, your enjoyment, your primary social circle, and stuff. Define it. Water, something that you're not doing for yourself at all. It's something not at all, in your blueprint, but you still want to give in some part of your life there. So, water. So that's how you decide. Now, chunk and block and tackle. Now, this is another thing that we'll come to. And ready, fire, aim. Chunk, block, and tackle are for all those people who wanted to know how to overcome, procrastination. So, the hallmark of successful time management is being consistently productive every day. Having daily plan and committing to it can help you stay focused on the priorities. I'm sure many of you are having a journal for time management or an app that helps you in managing time. And there's something called Bujo system. I really want you to go look into it. Bujo is bullet journaling system. Bullet journaling really helps you in understanding where you are, like, future log and your time log, and your month log, weekly log, and daily logs. So it's a very beautiful journaling system called Bujo. I personally use it, and now what I've done is, instead of penning it down, because earlier I used to pen down and I have diaries filled with it, but now I have made pages, a sheet in my Word document, and I have put the Bujo system there. And I do know which are transported to some other time, which are urgent, which are important. So I put it all down with bullet points, and there are different symbols that are for different bullets. So a dot indicates that it's a task, a circle indicates it's an event. So there are ways where the double arrows, where whether it has been put down to some other date, it's been postponed. So cancellation, everything is through a system. So in a go, I know what my day is like. So it's very important for you all to follow that. So have a notebook, online, offline, anything that suits you. Google Keep is a good an app to keep your everyday together. Evernote is good. So these are the ways you can have a notebook online. Prioritize tasks. Cross off, very important. It is like giving you again the sense of accomplishment, giving you a sense of completion in your heart. So cross off the items that are completed, carry over, put them in a different, next day, copy paste it to the new journal, new day. So you must know how unfinished tasks can be carried over. Don't sleep with the unfinished task not dealt with. So only that two little arrows can give you peace. You don't even know, subconscious mind gets a message that you're going to deal with it. So you're not sleeping with incomplete and unfinished tasks. So that is very important. Maximizing the power of your personal productivity journal. Now, plan a night before. Keep your journal with you. Planning a night before puts you in a very peaceful sleep. Trust me. And next morning you wake up refreshed. You are not, a day full of work and you're not really in the pressure of it and stuff because you know everything is put down properly. Your time is managed. You know your timeline and you own your time. It's so important, friends. You own your time. The sense comes to you. And so do that for yourself and keep your journal with you. I love to write down because there's something about inking it. So when you write it with your own like hands, it gets embedded in your system so that you can do a sense of satisfaction. Removes the task postponed 3 times. Any task that you have postponed for 3 times, friends, is something that you really don't want to do. It's not there in your thing. So probably you need to either remove or you need to deal with it immediately if it's very, very important, right? So I will say there's a Brian Tracy, uh, concept of eat that frog. So if it's very important, you need to prioritize it. Like first task to complete is this task that you're postponing continuously. And if your postponing is working, say you have to take a guitar lesson and you're postponing it, probably you don't want to do it. So for a time being, just remove it from your journal. I have already spoken about this. And now this is very important. Break down your projects. And Bob Proctor says that break down to ridiculous. So what does that mean? He says that a task which probably could take months, you have to learn to break it down to in such chunks that each chunk is not more than 15-minute chunk. So imagine if you have a big project and you have to break it down in such a way, the timeline has to be in such a way that the first chunk, the smallest chunk, is 15-minute chunk. So that's why he says it's ridiculous, but it works because otherwise you will start procrastinating on it. You will sit on a big, huge project and you will never finish it because chunking helps you doing that. So when you put a 15-minute bracket to that task, it is very easy to complete and get the sense of accomplishment, and that motivates you and keeps you in the flow of going further and further ahead. Block the time. Now, this is a very important system, Pomodoro. Many creative people and technologically savvy people, they use Pomodoro technique. So what is Pomodoro technique? You block a chunk of 25 minutes. You don't wake up, you don't get up, you don't do anything else, but you're working on your particular project for 25 minutes. And there's a timer that rings. And then you can take a 3 to 5 minute break and then you continue again for 25 minutes. And after 4 Pomodoros, the break is called Pomodoro. So after 4 Pomodoros, you can take a 30-minute break and do whatever you want to do. I hope I'm clear, but the slide will come. And tackle it positively with a focus which is single-minded focus. Okay, don't fall into the trap of negative, the devil's advocates. Don't fall into the trap of criticism, self-criticism, of people who are not able to do it themselves, trying to drain you of your resolve. Don't fall into that trap. Keep yourself shielded, protected, and you can do it, just by a resolve. So this is the Pomodoro technique. You can take a screenshot of it or whatever, but follow this system and the feedbacks would be amazing for yourself. So don't get up, don't do anything. You can have an app called Forest. I'm sure most of the youngsters know about Forest app. And 25 minutes, it's actually based on Pomodoro technique. So put the 25 minutes thing so your screen is off, you can't check your messages, you can't do anything. So have that app Forest on your, for yourself. I got it and I'm really happy with Forest app. And it lets me work and lets me focus. And so that's it. When timer rings, put a check mark on the paper, take a small break, get up, have hot tea, coffee, whatever, come back. After 4 Pomodoros, like 4 small breaks and 4 sessions of 25 minutes, take a 30-minute break, watch your series, one episode or two. Then ready, fire in. Now, do not to plan too much. Planning too much is a way to procrastinate. There are some people who give so much time to planning. Actually, what they are doing is this is another tool of procrastination. So it should be quick planning and take action. It shouldn't be like holding you up. The planning shouldn't be holding you up too much. So why do we procrastinate? Anybody? Anybody who's got a problem of procrastination would like to share something? How do they procrastinate? How do they procrastinate? Anybody? So procrastination obviously means delaying the task. And classic procrastination that I do is, so when I have to do something really important and I have this project to go and I've set my mind that I'm in the important zone and it's not still yet urgent and I'm so happy today I'm going to start it. The first procrastination is overplan. Second procrastination is moment I come to look at my laptop, I suddenly see the dust accumulated on it. And then I go over cleaning the laptop. And then I think, I need to clean the other laptop as well because maybe, and probably charge it fully. And these are the ways my mind comes up with certain tasks that are not even important and gets me busy in that. And why not, and I get so busy in that my main task, my rock, is not being taken care of. Now, then suddenly I would remember to have a cup of tea. And just before I'm about to start. So, ready, fire, aim is not happening because my mind is trying to take me off the task to certain other unimportant things so that I can be off the main task. This is an excuse we give to ourselves. So sometimes we just need to jump in, dive in, and ready, fire, aim. So we say to ourselves, no, the 15-minute chunk or the 25-minute block I will finish. Only then will I have the tea. Only then will I clean the laptop. Only then I'm allowed to do anything else. So that's how you communicate with your mind, and that's how you get over this particular procrastinating dialogue that goes on within. So sometimes when we don't give ourselves proper deadlines, we procrastinate. We don't have resources, we procrastinate. We don't know where to begin, so need to chunk down. We need to chunk down our work. So we procrastinate. If we've not chunked it down, it becomes too big for us. So we can't do it. We feel overwhelmed. It is very good to self motivate yourself by visualizing your aim, the ultimate aim for which you're sitting and doing it. So when you start visualizing, when you start putting yourself in the positive mindset by plugging into things that you really enjoy, getting into the states that you need for work. So, for example, you need to be in a clarity and a space of joyfulness when you're about to sit with your books. So, start by listening to the music that you really enjoy, get into the state, then look at your, book and then just jump in, dive in. So forget about the fear of failure and the passion will come as you start working and you start ticking off, as I said, accomplishments give you the passion, give you the flow, and you get into deep flow, friends. Now, it's a very important concept called deep flow and fractured time. So try not to get into the fractured time mode where you work and you get up and you work and you get up and then you leave for many days, you don't get up, come back to it, and then you again go for it. So that's called fractured time work management. Try to do it in a flow. When you're in a flow, I told you 20% of your efforts will lead to 80% of the results. So be in the deep flow and it will come as you follow it. 9 ways to overcome procrastination. I said delete the tasks that are not important, not urgent. So, for example, you are in the lunch hour, your to do says that you have 5 pages of a certain book that you need to read. And suddenly, somebody, some colleague or some peer who's not even your real friend or something, is just wanting company for going to the market to buy something or doing some walk around the block or something, and that's not your to do, right? And you say, okay, fine, bunk the book and let's go here. So here you've not chosen your own task. So you need to delete and learn to say no to your colleague. Take the book, read the 5 pages in the break or during the lunch. So you've done your bit for today. So know how to delete, know when to delegate. You know that friend's purpose is important, but you cannot do it because you already have your own rocks. So you will know where to delegate and how to delegate. Do it. So I'll give you do it for two things. One, obviously, that those that are urgent and important, do it. Don't wait. Those that are important yet not urgent, don't procrastinate. Don't sit on it. Do it. Now there are another 2 minute rule. What is the 2 minute rule? Tasks that are important, like kind of important, and they only take 2 minutes of your time. Do them immediately. For example, keeping your books in place, keeping your clothes away, Decluttering your desk or something like that would take 2 minutes of your time. Just do it because it will help you in keeping you in the flow. Don't compromise with your flow, friends. Ask for advice. Go to people, go to your professors, go to mentors, go to people who have been successful. Trust me. Go to them and ask them. Pradeep ji here is there, and so many mentors you people have. They have already done it, friends. So it's so important. I have always approached people who mentored me because they have reached a certain point and they can mentor me in reaching. Life is too short for trials and errors. So people who've already reached somewhere, I'm not saying to copy them, imitate them. No, model them, as in just take that quality from them, learn from them, take the advice, chop it up. We've already talked about chunking it down to the ridiculous, which is 15-minute rule. Clear deadlines. Clear your deadlines. Don't let it hover over you too much. So try to finish things in advance, and know how to set yourself up. You know the system. Give yourself rewards. Now, give yourself rewards, friends. It really helps. So, if you've achieved something, not just a pat on your back, but a reward, maybe a phone call which was really important to a particular person. Postpone it till you finish this particular thing and then reward yourself by talking to the person. Or maybe if you love chocolates or something, just reward yourself. Cook yourself some special dish because you achieved something like that. And remove all distractions like clutter, unnecessary phone calls. Take the forest app, cover your social media screen for a while. Monitor how many hours are you spending on your social media because it's not going to fetch you too much. And I told you, friends, if you are okay with a mediocrity lifestyle or you don't want to be reaching somewhere, achieve goals, it's fine, do whatever. But if you really want to be productive and change the course of your life, then this is the way forward. And Brian Tracy says, eat that frog. So sometimes we have some important tasks and they need our attention. So we have to first, and we don't want to do it because they're very cumbersome in our to do list of the morning. It's very cumbersome and we try and avoid and we do the small tasks rather. So I would suggest don't do that. Eat that frog. Take the most difficult task on which we may procrastinate, and first thing that you do in the whole day is that particular thing. And the moment you've done it, you are a winner because the rest of the day is yours. You're kind of owning your time your way. So that is very important, friends. And how much time do we have? Should we do the questionnaire? It's 4. Anupam, could you just let me know about the time?
Yeah, we can take 15 minutes, I guess.
Okay, fine. Great. Then we can do a little review on what all we spoke right now. So, which item is the reason we generally procrastinate? Can you people write A, B, C, D in the chat box? A is don't know where to begin. B, task feels overwhelming. No clear deadline, or all of the above.
Everybody is writing D, so it is
Right.
all of the.
Okay. What habit will help you overcome procrastination? Having a clear deadline, delaying the task, make more plans, all of the above. Overcome procrastination.
For the second question, everybody is writing A.
Good. So, in the eat the frog analogy, what does the frog represent? Procrastination, a task that will have a great impact. Ideas, a task that will have low impact. Pretty reasonable question, right? So, what is your answer?
Question three, the answer is B, I think. Most of them are
Great.
answering B.
Great. What is the definition of procrastination according to your friends? Now, tackling the important actions that have biggest positive impact in your life. Delaying a task is procrastination, or even several tasks that should be a priority. The latest time or date by which something should be completed to bury or drown beneath a huge mass. What is the definition of procrastination?
It is B. All are
Great,
writing B. Yeah.
great.
One or
Now,
two A's are there.
which of these is not a reason for procrastination? Passion for not doing the work, inadequate resources, fear of failure, task feels overwhelming, which is not the reason.
Not the reason.
Okay, something has been written, right?
Yes. A. Mainly it is A.
Okay, okay. Now, sixth question is which way to overcome procrastination can be defined as help from a trusted mentor, supervisor, coach, expert can give you some great insight on where to start and steps of completing a project. Is it delegate? Is it delete? Is it do it now or ask for advice? What is it? Help from a trusted mentor, huh? That. It's so simple,
Most are
right?
answering D.
Right. Now, who gives the advice? Break it down into the ridiculous. I told you about it, right? Let's see if you remember. Who gives the advice? Break it down to the ridiculous. Okay.
Faraz Khan is the first one to answer. It is B. Tanmay Ghosh
Hmm.
is writing B.
Okay.
Soumyadeep is writing A.
Okay. So, okay, some people did hear me, some didn't, but
Yes.
it's okay. To reduce the temptation of procrastination, each actionable step on a project should take no more than how many minutes to complete. So, what is the minimum I told you about the chunk that you'd break it down to? Is it 5, 10, 15, or 20? Quick.
Most are writing 15. It is C.
Great, great. At least that. Last two questions. What does saying if you have to eat two frogs, eat the ugliest one first mean? So, if you have two important tasks before you, start with the biggest, hardest, and most important task first. The key to reaching high levels of performance and productivity is for you to develop the lifelong habit of tackling your major task first thing each morning. Celebrate the completion of project milestones, rewards yourself for getting projects done on time. You need to establish a positive working environment that is conducive to getting your work done.
Yeah, most are
Number
writing A.
nine, good. Number 10 is what do many employees confuse activity with that causes failure to execute? Procrastination, accomplishment, time management, celebration. This is very important, friends. I know that we have really not openly spoken about it, but try and attempt this one. So, confusing activity with what that leads to failure to execute. Remember this. Okay. Now, let's see
I'm
the
getting
answers.
A, C. Yeah, different answers.
Okay. Now, see, the first one is D. Second one is having a clear deadline, A. Third one is B. Fourth is delaying a task. Obviously, you know that. Most of you have answered it right. Passion for doing the work is not a reason for procrastination. It's sometimes fear of failure to succeed, overwhelming project, not chunked down, so it's overwhelming, inadequate resources, or lack of deadline. These are the things that lead to procrastination, not the passion. Now, which way to overcome procrastination? Obviously, all of it. Most of you have answered it right. Break it down to the ridiculous into the ridiculous is by Bob Proctor, the one who talks about law of attraction also. He talks about this, Bob Proctor, and 15 is the correct answer. Now, if you have to eat two frogs, the first one goes very well. So the most difficult, the most important task, which will have the maximum impact in your work, the biggest rock, is the first to go in, right? And activity, when they confuse with accomplishment, they fail to execute. So every activity is not accomplishment. You need to know that this is a means to an end and not the end itself. That you need to know. So, like for example, enjoying and celebrating it every milestone is good. Yet not getting lost in the milestone and knowing what the ultimate goal is. So it's good that you finish the chunks. You chunked it down, you blocked your time, you finished it very well today. But always know you are headed towards the last goal of your thing, and These were milestones that you achieved. I would really encourage you to celebrate each milestone in your life. But always keep your vision and focus on your goal. Never get lost there. Set yourself in a ritual. Make your day in a ritual for things that are important. When you do that, you set a habit pattern within yourself, and you don't have to sit and kind of write down every task. It becomes your habit. So how do you set your ritual? Identify the time that you take for repetitive tasks every day. And when you do that, there are subtasks which are associated with it. For example, I am a blogger, so every morning I have 1 hour for research. So we are on the last bit of it. So, for example, lay your clothes the night before, prepare for your lunch, batch together activities. So when we batch it, certain activities that go together, just batch them all together. And during break, read for 10 minutes. During breathing in, and deep breathing in stretches you can do. Clean off a small area as you take the break, as you talk to your friends. Declutter your desk. Update your journal. Remember, all these are small 2 minute, 3 minute tasks, but they are very important for you to set tone for your bigger rocks. Set aside lunch hour for personal errands, right? Also talking up, like, for example, somebody had a rule that they will not watch anything like on Netflix alone. They would rather watch TV together. So it becomes a family time rather than just the me time. And wrap up tools. So the wrap up is most of it I have covered. Go on, since nowadays most of us are on the computer, I will, tell you, I would rather, invite you to using 10 fingers fast. This is an app and typing club that will teach you how to type fast on the computer so that you save time in posting and writing on the computer. And this is the age, friends, that you must learn. So 10 fast fingers. Alfred is another app that you can have on your computer. And Forest app, I've already told you. Bujo system of, journaling we have already talked about. And Parkinson's law is basically work expands to fill the time that we allocate to it. So you got to know that, you know, you need to be the master of your time, and you need to set your work in such a way that, you're able to manage it. So with that, I would say keep your mindset positive, keep yourself upbeat. When you have that system in place, everything will fall in place on its own, right? And that's how you manage your time and manage your mindset and manage yourself. And I'm so sorry, I'm not able to hear any one of you. I'm trying to fix up my speaker system. But here my presentation ends, and over to you, Anupam.
So thank you, Shrija ma'am and Anupam sir. More than most of the times, even when we set our mind to things, we don't really have the roadmap that was very much needed that the two of you gave to us, Shrija ma'am, you gave to us. So I'd just like to thank you for your efforts and thank you for the wonderful lesson that we've learned today and the roadmap that you've given us more than most of it. And thank you, Shrija ma'am. Thank you, Anupam sir. We hope that each and every one of us who attended the session, we are going to put this in actual work and rather than theory, turn it into practicals. So I would like to thank all the faculty members, CEO sir, director sir, Arvind sir, everybody who attended the session. I hope everybody enjoyed it, and thank you so much. Again, a special thanks to the college for organizing it. It was very helpful. And personally, as a student, was like the roadmap. It feels like something that you can practically apply to things. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you, everyone. I hope the audience enjoyed it as well. Would love to see everybody again for the next session we have. Thank you.